nworksinc.
Yo, niaje, hapa ni nworksinc Radio Podcast episode 42 na tuko na mgeni, repeat customer
Sio mgeni anymore. Ni mwenyeji.
Local, lakini bado tunajiintroduce for those who haven't seen subsequent episodes.
Yes. Dr. Mashadha Ndongo ni daktari wa intensive care hapa Murang'a County Referral. I also consult outside the government hospital. Okay. I am a tech enthusiast. I am a self-taught physicist.
Na physicist wanapenda kuja kwa hii show. Wanapenda hii podcast sana ni kama hiyo.
Especially astrophysics.
Na tech bado ni hizo zote zinaenda tu pamoja.
And maybe quantum mechanics. Things on that side of physics.
Okay. So physio tu, yani physics ni kitu na like tu.
If I wasn't a doctor,
Yeah.
niliamua kuwa physician badala ya physics.
Iko tu karibu.
Zinakaribiana. Wali confuse hapo mbele.
Dictionary bado huko umeelewa vizuri. So yeah, Mashadha is here with us again. So today we're going to talk about medical innovations. Zenye kuna medical innovations zinakuwa hapo 2024. Unajua tumeingia Happy New Year guys. Atujapundia.
Happy New Year. Happy. Is this your first episode this year?
This year, yes.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year guys. So tunataka kuongea about kuna medical innovations zenye zimekuwa happen last year. Najua hata this year kuna so many more that are going to come. But there are some that have been like fascinating, kama moja ni history ya VR. VR moja ni ile virtual reality, unavaa headsets. So now when I was doing research for this topic, for this particular episode, niliona ati wanatumia VR treat phobia.
VR inatumika for a couple of uses. Of course, as it was coming into the market.
Yeah.
Sijui kama you've seen a movie called Ready Player One?
No.
So Ready Player One is a movie where they've created dunia, it's fine to the future.
Uh-huh.
And so we've destroyed this world that we have.
Okay.
So programmers wakatengeneza a virtual world inaitwa the Oasis. So for you to get into the Oasis, you have to wear a VR headset. And most people are so plugged into that Oasis mpaka
haishi
utaki kukaa sasa to the real world. So virtual reality and it's a kitambo movie. I think it's an early 2000s ama 2010 hapo movie. And so from there on, I think it was a technology that was starting to come up. And as of last year, I think Google walikuwa wametoa Google Glasses zao. Facebook walikuwa wametoa yao, the Meta one. So initially it came out as ilikuwa kwanza kitu tu ya kubamba.
Wasijaribu kuona kama watu watakubali.
Ni ya kubamba wasi. But now we are getting a lot of
it have blown up.
So the fact that it can take you into a world that is completely outside this world, it can be used to treat so many. So guys with phobias, vitu kama claustrophobia, unaogopa so you go into a controlled room, they give you VR glasses. Unaangalia tu and the physician is able to guide you.
So like the intensity inaenda ikiongezeka
mpaka sasa kama ni arachnophobia ama they show you a lot of spiders and it's working so well. It's also being used to train surgeons.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
Especially for robotic surgery, and you have to wear to small things and operate on very tiny spaces.
Yeah.
It's also being used for robotic surgery.
Lilianata nini? You see like interns. So you wear the glasses and then you can see the whole body, the veins, the bones or whatever. So it is even
changing anatomy.
Yeah. So it is easier for learning and teaching. So explain mse unamwambia ni hii.
And even telemedicine. Like for example,
what is telemedicine?
Telemedicine is basically removing the physical barrier that prevents a doctor from accessing a patient.
Okay.
Or a senior doctor from a junior doctor. So for example, I'm stuck in the middle of the Arctic.
Okay.
I am unable to see a doctor.
Yeah.
And I wear some VR glasses that daktari na mwingine ule side ingine pia tunaweza. Now we can easily communicate. Just it's like we're in the same place, we're in the same room. but I'm in the Arctic na
Kina pona hii side
South
ingine.
Africa.
That is so interesting. Then another one that was, I think we even talked about it on the last episode, ilikuwa history ya brain computer interface.
When we were talking about Neuralink.
Yes. So Neuralink kama anaitwa nani? Elon Musk. Neuralink imeenda ina FDA bado ina approve hizo ma test na nini. Then I've even seen that wase wanapata paka cochlear implants.
Implants have been there for a while. Let me tell you, implants are not
New.
very new. So cochlear implants have been there for a while. Implants kama pacemaker,
Pacemaker,
that we use very frequently. Implants have been there for a while.
Yeah.
Mahali sasa tuseme brain interfaces zinakuja
Yeah.
with their new prosthetics.
Oh yeah.
Last year but one kumekuwa na kazi mob sana inaendelea kwa prosthetics.
Yeah.
So for example, a bionic hand,
Yeah.
ni ngumu control because it's not exactly your physical body.
Yeah, it's not connected.
So you can get a brain interface that is now integrated with the bionic hand.
So when it sends the impulses,
You're just able to move it like a normal hand. And it's actually very good technology. Dexterity bado ijafika venye ati unaweza
feel.
The feeling is almost there.
Yeah.
But there are those very fine movements. Unaona kama kushona.
Oh yeah.
Those are very fine moves. Bado ijafika hapo, but maybe within the next 5 years we might but they might even be better than this hand.
So basically ati ni electrical pulses from the brain that's communicate with
we talked about the brain last
yes,
time. And I told you the brain is basically a network of billions of circuits, of electrical circuits that just communicate. So you just need to find a place where you're going to place and every area has whatever it controls. So last time I told you the occipital cortex controls vision, the Broca's and Wanike's areas in a control, Evo. So you just put it in the area that
needs to be there.
Utasonga nayo. It's very interesting.
Very interesting. So another thing that I saw, which is like really catching on, is RFIDs. Unaona wase wanaweka implants, like you put an RFID on like your hand, so when you go to pay, just tap and you pay. Pia so ingia mahali.
Radio frequencies. Unaona hata kwa tag ya patient.
Yes.
Let me give you a story. We had a psych patient on Thursday, either on Thursday or Friday last week at our ICU. Na alikuwa, and is an elderly man, 76-year-old, amepata dementia, but he's still quite strong. Most of them tend to wanakulanga side patients out. Utaipata mwenye mekonla asa. Pari anakuanga mawida. So jamaa, akikuja alikuwa almost completely unconscious. And then these people don't like unfamiliar environments. Akiamka place yenye ajui ni wapi,
inakuwa ngori,
get agitated kabisa. Yeah. So akaamka katoa hizo malaini tumemweka na manini nini. So the nurse that was there was a female nurse, and she's also on her way to retiring. So ataki maneno
mobia.
So akajaribu kumwambia mzee, he was very violent, akamsukuma na akatoka na akaenda huko kwa car park. Fortunately alikuwa na gauni ya hosi, so everybody even in the car park can feel na nipeshe. But ingekuwa for example hiyo kitu imefanyika usiku na alishuka akatoka nje ya gate akashuka mpaka huko tao, so
ni kumfuata
masoja sasa walishikana kama 4 wakamshika wakamrudisha. So your radio frequency identification is very good even with things like outpatient monitoring. So such a patient should have a tag, monitor. So wherever they are at, you can just see them.
Point them, umetoka, umeingia.
Even for consumables, supplies, maybe things that have come to the store.
To the store, yeah.
So you want to know how you're consuming things.
Yeah.
So you just tag them with the radio frequency. You know how frequently unatumia glass. It's very good. And then sasa, of course, paying for services.
Yeah. Do you think you would want to have such a thing inside you? Like the RFID, would you implant it?
I honestly do not see the harm. Although why to Christians, have their own, mark of the beast. Yes.
Lakini kama ulieko pacemaker, it's
not different.
It's not different. It's not different. It's only one thing and the other. Then there are things like 3D printing pia ni kitu pia imekama up sana. na medicine pia ime adapt. And this was so exciting for me because when I was reading about it, they're printing dawa inakaa kama dinosaur. So the kid is really big.
Kuanga na story na kila kitu. You heard about a United Healthcare CEO who was murdered on the streets of New York should have been in November last year.
Yeah, I had.
By a 21-year-old, alikuwa anaitwa Luigi Mangione. That guy literally 3D printed that gun and akamshoot. 3D printing is going to have a lot of, it already has actually a lot of uses.
Yeah.
So in medicine, drug design is very important.
Oh yeah. So unaweza, right now they can do a drug for a 50-year-old.
You can customize your drug kabisa.
Kama uko na underlying issue, like you can remove those, because I understand some medicine napoga tu ni mzuri, but they can have side effects to you, but not to you.
Now that doesn't really come into 3D print. That comes into how we are using AI for drug design. With 3D printing is more about the shape, how the drug will look physically.
Okay.
So generally kwa drug design, unaona kama sema hiyo wenye watoi anaogopa pili paracetamol, so unamtengenezea kenye kako shaped tu venye uko sure ni shape itambamba hiyo atadishi. So for sasa how excipients will look, now that's drug design. AI is still very important there. Hata imetupatia some proteins, how they're natured, everything.
Sculptured.
So they're very good with customization hapo. So the AI will just design for you how the drug will, what excipients you'll use. So you'll find that some drugs are paired to maybe a potassium salt, others to a sodium salt, evo. So
Mengia chemistry sasa.
So how to pair them for certain patients.
Yeah.
You know, like unaona hata dawa za high blood pressure. When us guys were in school, nasi ati ni kitambo. Med school juzi tu. There were, tulikuwa tunaambiwa, so there's a protocol. So for a patient who's black, you know, you start with a calcium channel blocker. For a patient who's white, although kuna watu walikuwa nasema there are racist connotations to this thing, but there's a reason, there's a reason why. There's a reason why we are giving. So AI is also going to be very important in how we design drugs, how we are going to
So I also niliona they can, like they can 3D print like a drug that dissolves faster, as in near structure yake. Yani
that can actually come in very well. So again, that comes in with the infit. So kitu kama tuseme amoxil. Amoxil is a very basic drug. Amoxil unaweza kwa inatengenezwa na kampuni kama 50. Sisi benye tunatengeneza amoxil yetu inaweza kosa kwa the same exact. The active ingredient is the same.
Yeah.
The penicillin is the same. But the things that it is now paired with that will help with its dissolving in your stomach.
Oh yeah.
Its bioavailability in your blood, how it will be excreted by the kidneys. So those ones are they
can make formulas that
the nuances that you can now play around with and make it even last longer in the body.
Oh yeah.
Make it last less. Unataka dawa maybe itaingia 1 hour
imeshatoka.
If ako na tuseme higo yake, the kidney and the livers are not functioning
very well.
So you want a drug that will be
you don't want it to stay in there because it's going to hurt them even more than.
So sorry, they're very very big. Hapa future ni bright ba.
Iko na sisi hapa 2030 tuko tukiongea anastu. And then something else I read was about health insurance. So kuna history ya health insurance. Okay, when I was reading about it was Samsung si wanaorganize gadget zote nini, and then they have those even health. They even like have a health department for those gadgets of theirs zenye ukitembea nini na msiji inapima hizo vitu zote. So now there's a program that they created that tuseme ukifika kama hiyo 5,000 steps in a day, if you're already eligible for the plan, they give you up to $1,000 in insurance.
No. That is a very controversial area because generally, medical data is supposed to be very confidential. But easy wearable, they're calling them wearable devices.
Yeah.
They are very open with your data.
True.
And then the accuracy is not even on warning labels, and I was having this argument with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Yeye ni tech enthusiast sasa kabisa. So he has an Apple Watch. Hiyo Apple Watch yake tukikuwa kwa gari tukijump hivi kwa bump
Inasema anatembea
ina count step. You might think he's very active.
kumbe ni bamba.
About. And then I was asking him, so ni repository gani hii yenye Samsung wako nayo ama Apple wako nayo yenye wako allowed to store medical information which they again share with your insurance?
Yes.
So for example, if you're very fat, you are 60, Samsung inaonyesha hakuna kutembea unatembea. Of course, if you go to Jubilee and tell them you want medical insurance, na mimi nimekuwa kwa mabump kila siku, my premiums will be much lower than
much higher.
So it's a very controversial issue.
Because the information is supposed to be
It's supposed to be very private and confidential.
Yeah.
Secondly is some of the guys designing these things are not really medical professionals.
They're just tech guys.
So ukiniambia hii watch inaweza chukua blood pressure yangu, I have to take it with a pinch of salt. How
We tried. Actually, even I've seen even on YouTube, they even try those the wearable. Like they test them. So even China have their own from $20, from $15, up to $500. So now the accurate ones are the ones that are expensive. They're the ones that are $5,000.
Yeah.
Are $500.
But how accurate are they?
Not as accurate as at the hospital, but they're more accurate compared to the one that is.
Because I would think, for example, I am a hypertensive patient. Na daktari ameniambia, lazima ukuwe na mashini kwa nyumba. You have to keep a machine in the house so that you can monitor your BP every once in a while.
Yeah.
Then I happen to have a daughter who lives in the US and she sends me an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced that this Apple Watch will be taking my blood pressure. So one day I'm feeling I have a crazy headache. My heart is pounding. But when I check my Apple Watch, I'm normal. I might not go to hospital and I have an impending stroke.
Yeah.
So, and they actually warn you about it in some of the, they tell you that they should not be replacements for medical devices.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not how the population will take. The moment tumeva watu watatu na si wote tunaona tuko sawa.
We don't, once we ingest technology, we never go back.
Going back is very difficult. If anything, now we have to perfect that technology to the point that it will. But you see, between that period when we've introduced it and we perfected it, we might lose.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting because technology inakuja at a very alarming rate, and now, as I said, you don't know which gadget is which. You don't know how accurate ya Samsung na iPhone na ingine ya Changho. You don't know the accuracy of all those gadgets. And then
there's no industry standard yenye wamepewa ya kuambiwa at least your device should be 99% accurate and your gold standard is this. Unaimeasure against this. So without those sort of standards, it's a very gray area.
But I see naona inaenda. It's still like
wewe juu koko peune
inaenda tu pole na itafika tu eventually
we can agree to that.
Then there's also issue ya artificial food kuna hizi meat, unajua kuna hizi non-meat products.
Watu wamekosa vitu mob za kufanya
Actually, your comments are very, very interesting because now it's even going to be worse because when AI comes,
you want to utilize this technology.
Yes.
So someone with just a crazy idea will come up with it and it will become something. So I'm sure you've seen the burgers zenye zimetengenezwa na there's Beyond Meat.
Yeah.
There's Impossible Meat. Yeah. There are so many alternative products that are trying to look like meat that are not exactly meat, and they make them using
almond milk.
I mean, if I want something like that looks like a burger, and I want it looking like meat. Let me just have meat.
Sometimes I wonder if I want to drink milk. Why not drink milk? Why not have the milk from a plant? It's very interesting. Unless now you have a medical condition. But if you have it, certain tuna.
So
End of the day.
they are, and they mostly come from products like soya products.
Yeah, true.
And so they're making a lot of, again, it's AI powered.
Imenikumbusha kuna hii sosi. Unajua sosi?
That's a beyond meat yetu ni saucy. That's our beyond. Doesn't even taste the
Sosi
same.
unaweza pikiwa hapo na spaghetti. Ukiuma hivi the first bite. This is not what. And then there's disappointment. Sijui kama ushawahi.
No, but so at least I've seen reviews for things like Impossible Meat.
Yeah.
You will not even tell it's not meat unless umeenda ukaorder. Hata umeorder lakini unasikia venye inaonda, this must be beef.
Lakini bado kuna ile but there's always kwanza.
So pia pala.
So they're saying they're growing like meat using stem cell, and they're saying that hizi artificial foods zinaweza kuja kumaliza inaitwaje, si poverty nini, lack of food, hizo famine, hunger nini, vitu kama
You know that's a problem with just Africa and Asia. Food is a problem. If anything, in places like the US, their problem is overnutrition. They have too much nutrition. So yeah, now that's why lifestyle now is becoming a thing. You want to go to the gym every day, want to wear a wearable.
Or to count yourself.
But they're very different from us. Guys are still struggling with hunger because our arid and semi-arid areas.
Yeah.
Asia, because of their crazy population.
Yeah.
But Americas, Europe,
Lakini
parts of South America.
I usually think, I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, I usually think like hunger is like created. Your famine na hizo vitu gote created. Because you can't tell me that there's not enough food for everyone in this world.
That's why I'm telling you. There are places with so much, but it can't. You see, there are so many restaurants, even here in Nairobi.
Yes.
They have leftovers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But instead of giving them to street children, they'd rather throw them away so that they don't end up, quote unquote, wapatie customers vitu za bure. So they'd rather throw them away, which
is quite unfortunate. So
that's capitalism for you.
Also on these artificial foods, kuna hizi nini, I don't know whether you've seen, there's a trend of powders that people are mixing with water, and there's so many. It's GAG something. I can't remember the actual name.
So there are several types.
Yeah.
They are the ones that people use when they're working out, the muscle.
Yeah, there's that one. Yeah.
So there's creatine, but some of them are okay because they are just protein.
Yeah.
Some of them are not okay because they are fortified with extra things that you probably would need or would even be harmful for you.
Yeah.
Then the electrolytes that now are becoming a thing. They're becoming very fashionable. Unaenda sasa badala ya kukunywa hii maji ikiwa maji peke yake, I have to put my own electrolytes inside.
Oh yeah.
So they come in sachets. So unaambia iko na sodium, iko na potassium. All of those things are very unnecessary.
Because your body is already doing it for you.
If you ile lunch tumekula saa hii, bora iko na kanyama ama they have enough potassium and so on. So it's very unlikely that you need to supplement unless now you have a deficiency, which again tells you that you probably have a medical.
So you need just to go. You don't need to buy this.
That's just good corporations have a thought of it, and they have to keep inventing things that
R&D, research and development.
Look for things that you catch them when they are young, and then
So there's also this other thing that is exoskeleton. Hii kwanza inani excite sana. Because now I'm seeing like you're going to become cyborgs. But most of them, like the companies that I've been checking out, are mostly for repetitive tasks. Kama say when you're not job kwa warehouses. So they have like, because
they wear it from outside.
Yeah.
So for them, a big complaint for a company like Amazon, mtu alikuwa anasema, the places where they store their warehouses, where they store all those things that they ship, they call them fulfillment centers, Amazon fulfillment centers.
Yeah.
the amount of work that people generally have to do to lift news boxes
From this side to this side.
na wanakwanga na targets crazy, same day delivery.
Yeah.
Na unaishi kama ni hapa unaishi Ngoingwa na umeorder side.
Same day na iende sahi.
So it becomes very tedious for these days to keep doing that work, and most of them get a lot of problems with their backs, their joints.
Yeah.
So to try and help with that, now they're getting exoskeleton. Again, exoskeletons came in initially first as toys.
Yeah, true. Actually hata naweza sema zilikuja kama sci-fi kwanza.
There was a movie you saw, a movie by Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise. Ilikuwa inaitwaje? The Edge of Tomorrow. The area where they were fighting some aliens. So, but now they've become useful.
They're becoming. There's more research being done on them because, of course, you can just like wear anything and then it helps you. It might not even be.
And then they also have a lot of military applications.
Oh yeah.
Even so, I think they're also going to be going forward. Zinaenda kuwa poa sana.
Because unasema ati, because the zone I was reading about inafanya ikue 2 times stronger. Kama unaweza chukua 30 kg,
No, you
unachukua 60.
You can imagine how productive that can be.
And then you're not straining your body because now and then they're actually integrating AI on some of these things, so it knows how you're moving already, and then it learns what you need to do every day. So it gives you like strength on one side, then on one side, that on this. So technology, the way it's going right now, we're just going to be cyborgs.
We already are. Because everywhere you are now, you're with your phone.
Yeah.
You're depending on machines for most of what you do.
Especially like on your phone. You can't stay like a day without your
phone. And then mostly this the exoskeletons are mostly for the back because the back ndio inakuwa issues, and the arms,
back, joints generally, and the back.
And also I saw something else that there's another company, they are creating them for people who can't walk. Already
you can already see how that can be very applicable, because if I have quadriplegia, or as in I'm plegic, my feet don't work, my legs don't work, and then you put me on an exoskeleton, I will be able to
move from here to here. So these are innovations that we're just hoping zitakuwa for the best of us, instead of now I go and get that exoskeleton and then I come smash all this place.
There will always be people. There will always be people who are kosari.
Yeah, true.
With every market there's a madman.
Yeah, man, and then some of them I'm seeing, there are some of them with $600 up to $60,000. There's so diversity in this particular technology, especially in the medical field. And then you see medicine is a field that has been research has been done on them all the time, like continuously. Even now, there's something new that there's
every day. I agree completely.
So hata ukisema ati wamekosa kazi, wako kazi mbata.
Bottom line.
So now, there was also this issue of like in Kenya, I wanted to know in Kenya, like hizi vitu ni venye I feel like ziko far-fetched kufika huku hivi,
But you never know.
You know, it took maybe the Americas and Europe a very long period for them to develop to where they are right now.
Yes.
But because of the bridges in technology that there are, it won't take us that long.
Oh yeah, because we are starting with
we have a very big
head start, because already they've done research for like 100 years. So right now,
if you look at countries like some of the Asian giants like Singapore, and they've taken a very short time to become ultra developed.
So because the technology is already there.
I don't think it will take us that long.
It's only that the reason why it might take us a bit long is about money, because some of these technologies are, now we are getting old technology and there's new technology, and you find out that this old technology was not as efficient as it was, so it's not even being used.
I agree, but again we see the workforce that for example, is working in that US,
Yeah.
there's so many Kenyans who are there. There are so many Ugandans there. So when they come back home,
Yeah. Or
they might not bring the whole equipment, but they'll bring the tech with them, their mindset.
their mindset.
So that should be enough to kickstart us, as long as we have the right leadership in place. That should be enough to at least
cut the
time
kidogo like in half. Tuko mbele ni mwa Kenya
tuko na marks. I think so too. It will not take us as long as it's taken the rest.
So, and then there's also insurance in Kenya that have some issue about insurance in Kenya, but I think you're the one who can expound on that.
Health insurance is a headache across the world. There are most places in Europe are, unlike the Americas, they have quite good healthcare.
Yeah.
But the US, very expensive. Insurance doesn't work too well. So the model that we've taken as Kenya, of course, you are familiar with NHIF.
Yes.
Where we were making a monthly contribution.
Yeah.
And that contribution was able to
subsidize
that. And just within NHIF itself,
yeah,
it had so many, I think about 90 schemes ndani yake. So there was a super cover, comprehensive medical cover, there were limbs, the family, police, and they had so many schemes just within NHIF. So whoever envisioned shift wanted to do away with most of these schemes and just make it one cover that can cover everyone. But you see, the vision does not, that would work very well in a country where everybody has maybe enough to supplement that, because that insurance can't cover everything.
Yeah.
So if you do such a model,
it will be quite expensive.
And it will require, so like for most of us now, the county has had to, imebidi tuchukulie an extra private cover, ya Jubilee, because SHA can only cover so much.
Yeah.
So you can imagine for someone who umecalculate premiums zenye ziko juu,
yeah,
and then when you go to hospital, it only covers a very small amount.
Yeah.
Then where do you get the rest of the money to cover for that? So we think there's a problem with SHA. They promised that they're going to look into it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think, and don't quote me on this, but
but you think
I think they will have to reintroduce either a super cover or a special cover for civil servants, because most people who are employed by counties or parastatals, they're having to resort to getting private
covers. Yeah.
So SHA will have to sit down and probably come up with a civil servant cover that, which again is just reintroducing NHIF. So there was no point in
moving group, this is and then going back.
And then the rollout was also very hasty. Tulifunga, I think it was on a 30th ama 29, tukafunga NHIF na first SHA inaanza kazi. So it should have been a phased rollout.
Yeah, there were a lot of issues and first thing.
So many people, especially guys on dialysis and what they had a lot of issues. So the government, I think the guys behind these things had not thought about the kinks, the special things that you need to look at.
Yeah.
It's starting to work now.
Okay.
But still it is not covering as
much
good as NHIF. So it leaves a lot to be desired. I really hope that they go back to the drawing board and settle it out. Again, UDA imeisukuma na finyo.
Yeah.
So we'll have to stay with it. They know it's going.
Yeah.
So we'll have to adapt ways and hope that not too many patients will die by the time things are coming in.
Yeah. We just have to see how it goes. And then there was something else you're telling me about, like medical devices. Medical devices are quite expensive. How do like when like private? Yeah.
I remember
you had mentioned.
So there's an arrangement. Previously, we had the initial scheme, the MES, it was called the Managed Equipment Scheme, where the national government, on behalf of all counties, negotiated with the suppliers on how they will place special machines in all, I think, level 4 and level 5 hospitals. So dialysis machines,
okay,
machines that we use in ICU, ventilators and what. And it wasn't a very good scheme, because once the machine was placed and those guys are not managing it on a day-to-day basis, it would break down very easily. And once it's broken down,
fixing it is also
because you've given us a machine, we are not the
manufacturer.
We're not the manufacturer. It's
We're
broken
not
down.
even the operator.
We don't know where you got the parts from.
Yeah.
So they brought a lot of issues. In our ICU, we have, I don't know, so many machines that are broken down. Tuko na actually rooms specifically za kuweka broken down. Alafu sasa the new system has come. Now the one that Shai will be backing. Yenye the county goes into agreement with a vendor.
Or like a manufacturer.
Yeah. So kama Murang'a, we have a specific vendor. Ameleta 8 dialysis machines pale ICU. Amepeleka zingine nne Kegumo. So, but fortunately, a little better than the previous one is that this vendor is the one managing them. So anytime something breaks down, he comes on the company. The only issue with this one is that now the cut that they are getting. So for example, NHIF pays, I don't know, 9,500 per dialysis session. So the county will take I think around 4K. Then the vendor will take around 5K, 5,500. So you see the vendor is even making more than the county is doing.
Yeah.
There were speculations that unajua watu wako biashara, but now wanafanya biashara in public facilities. But I think at the end of the day, the thing the patient cares about, akikuja apate mashini pale Murang'a, atakataka kujua hii mashini ya dialysis kutoka wapi. Ye bora atatoa pesa kwa mfuko na dialysis.
Extra money,
no extra money will come from the pocket na afanya dialysis. So the others, so we are happy that it's working. Like for me, I'm very happy that it's working because patients are not, hata zile lines zilikuwa previously they're not there.
Yeah. Because machines are there.
But machines are there. But now the revenue sharing is where the problem comes in. Because someone is going to grossly benefit from public hospitals. These vendors are they're going to be billionaires very soon. You can imagine if you have 8 machines, one machine does 3 cycles in a day. So that's 24 cycles.
Yeah.
And this guy is making 5K per cycle.
Yeah.
So our vendor is easily making, I don't know, is that 120 per day? Kama amekaa nyumbani.
Unless we are ribike.
So,
kuna maneno. But okay, when it comes to hizo msema, of course we have to talk about them because they're already here. But we have also to be very hopeful about the future. And then now also we can, like, the government also has to like mitigate a little bit to make sure
no one is taking advantage.
And I think that is what will happen eventually, because I've realized most governments, they always like produce, they bring up something, a scheme or something, and then they start looking into it because there's no way you know it will work or not if it's not there.
Now, let me tell you what usually happens. Someone brings such a scheme with, of course, there's that general benefit that anajua people might or will benefit.
Yes.
But he also has a hidden agenda on their side.
Business side.
And then someone always figures it out eventually.
Yeah.
So one is figured out, now we try to start correcting that. So usually, I feel like that is what usually happens.
Yeah.
So even with this one, we are starting to figure out where the kinks are, and we should be able to streamline it because it's a better system than the previous
one. And it's also saving more lives there. So we just hope it goes in the right path. So basically, those were some of the medical innovations I've seen, and I needed to get inside, and we also have you needed to understand some of this.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Keep learning.
Keep learning.
Yeah, so basically it is about learning and understanding things. If you have any question ama kuna kitu tunasema ni wrong ama ni right, you can comment there. We see.
Itakuwa ngumu tukue wrong la.
Professor research.
Get us on social media.
Lakini ni sawa. So thank you Wasada for coming through. Kama kawaida sisi ni nworksinc radio podcast na tuko na radio pale kwa mtandao. If you want to listen to this podcast or any other podcast that are previous and coming, utaandika tu pale kwa browser, utaandika bit.ly/nwks radio. The R is capital. Thank you.
Cheers.